Welcome back to IaaS Tech. In this video, you are going to learn that how to build a modern file selector with image preview and multiple uploads using Tailwind CSS and vanilla JavaScript. This is a quick demo where I will show that what we have built in this video and what you are going to learn. So this is the drag and drop element that we have built. It has a select button and it also has a drop zone like this. So you can select files by clicking on the select button, and also you can drag and drop files over the drop zone as well. So now, first of all, we will test the select button. Click on the select, and I will pick a few images, and you can select multiple images. So if you open that, then it will display the preview images like this with the cross icon, and you can delete any of these images by clicking on the cross button. And also we have the number of selected files counter in the below. So that would also be updated whenever you delete an image or select an image. So now I will test the images by dragging and dropping on the drop zone. So, okay, I will drag it, and if you hover your images over this drop zone, then the border color and text color would become blue. If you move it out, then the color become gray again. So now I will leave it here, and as soon as you drop it here, it will display the preview of the images and the counter here. You can see it is showing all of the images and it is showing the number of files at the bottom. So if you also want to learn how to build this feature, please continue watching this video. So first of all, I will start creating design by using HTML and CSS. So let us create a new file, index.html. And now I will add basic HTML5 code. And here I can add any title. Okay. Now I have to link the Tailwind CSS CDN. Okay. Now I am going to add background color to the body. By the way, I have to create a file for configuration of Tailwind CSS. The reason is that I have installed an extension for Tailwind CSS, and this extension give me suggestions of all of the available classes. So in order to see those suggestions, you must have to have this file in your root directory. It can be empty, it does not matter. Just create this empty file so that suggestions could be enabled. So now, whenever you type something inside double quotes, you will see all of the suggestions available. Now I need bg gray 100. Let us open this file in the browser. Okay. Now I'm going to create a div, and this will have a class p4 that will add padding around this element. And now I will create a label with these classes: margin bottom, font medium, flex, justic. Oops. Actually, let me just create label, then we will add classes. And in this label, I am going to target a file input, so that if user clicks on that, it will target a specific input file. So in the class, let's add few Tailwind CSS classes, MB2, font medium and flex, and justify between. And items center. All right. Now in this, I will show a text span, choose files. So next I will create a button, and this button would say select, and here I will add few more classes, and also I need an ID that I will use later. Select button class bg blue 500 over bg blue 700, and text white, font bold. And now I need vertical padding and horizontal padding for. Now I need to make it rounded, full, transition, colors, duration 300. So when you hover it, you can see a background color change with the transition animation. So after that, we need to add the hidden input that will have the ID that we have mentioned in the for tag of the label. So input ID, so here I will specify the same ID. Type would be file, and we want to allow multiple files. So just add the multiple tag and type the class hidden. This would make it hidden because we don't want to display this input. We want to make it work in the background. So if you type add the ID in the for tag of the label, then whenever you click on the label, it would automatically click the input for you. So after that, I am going to create the drop zone. So for that, create a div, and then in this I will add few classes. Flex justify between, and item center or margin bottom is 4. And in this, we need another div that would be actually a drop down drop zone. So create, first of all, we have to give it an ID that we would use in the JavaScript. And then we need to add few classes. In this, we need 100% width, and we need height of 48, and we need border too, and border should be dashed, and border color should be gray with 300 shade, and we may want to make it rounded, and we also want a flex, display flex, and justify center and item center. These two classes would bring the content of this div in the middle, vertically and horizontally. Now we need to change the text color to gray with 400 shade, and we want to text large. Okay. Now inside of this, I will add a span with the text that would say drag and drop files here, right? And after that, I need a box or an element where I would display the number of selected files whenever user will be selecting the files, and that would be happening in the JavaScript. So I just have to create a placeholder with that ID, selected files count, and here I will add some classes. I will just add a dummy text 5 files selected, and just to see how it looks like, class text gray 500 text SM and font medium. So we have to fix the layout here because you can see these are showing in a row. We should show them in the form of columns. So for that, I can use let's scroll, and I want to align this on the start, or maybe I should just delete it. Okay, that is fine. After that, I have to create a placeholder for displaying the selected images tags. So for that, just add a div with the ID selected images, and then we need class flex wrap and mx story. So that's it for now for the HTML. Now we are going to start working on the script on the JavaScript. So let's create a script tag, and we have to store the DOM elements for file input, drop zone, selected images, select button, and selected files count. So let's create them. Constant file input is equal to document dot get element by ID and file input. And then we need drop zone is equal to document dot get element by ID, and here I will specify the ID of the drop zone. Now I need the element for the selected images. For that type const is equal to selected images is equal to document dot get element by ID and selected images. I will just copy paste these lines because it's the same. Now I need to select button, and the ID would be select button, and for this the ID would be selected files count, and the variable should also say the same thing, files count. All right, now I have to register few events against these elements. So first of all, I want to register the click event on the select button. So select button dot add event listener, and click, and on click I want to call a function that would actually click the input. So let us try. If I click on that, it is opening the file selector. So all right, now I am going to register other events. We need to register the file change event on the file input dot add event listener change. This event would be triggered as soon as selected files are changed. if you select some files, then it will trigger this event, and I will create a function that would be handle files. So then we need to create another event, drop zone dot add event listener, drag over, and handle drag over. We need to register another event that would be drag leave, and we will create a function for this as well, drag leave. Similarly, we need another function that is drop event, and then we will call handle drop function as soon as user drop the file. So for example, if user is dragging an image, and as soon as he leaves the mouse button and drop it over within these dotted lines, then we will call this function. And drag leave function would be triggered when user for example, user is dragging over this element, and if he takes the dragged element outside of this area, then this function would be called. And if user is dragging file and he moves the file over this highlighted area, then it will call this. It will trigger this drag over event. So now it's time to create all of the functions that we need. So first of all, we need handle files. So just create function handle files, and we need to get the files from the event. So I will just create a variable const files file list is equal to this dot file. So this would give me access to the event. So next I need to display images. Display images. I have to create this function as well. So I would have to pass the file list in this function. And I will create the display images function later. First, let me complete these functions. Now I will create a function handle drag over. And in this, I am getting the event, and I would use the prevent default function to prevent the default behavior when you drag something over an element. So prevent default. Next, when user drag over this element, then we should change the border of the drop zone to make it look like that something is being hovered or being dragged over it. So just to give a good user behavior, which will add the border and we will change the text color. So for that, I will use drop zone dot class list dot add, and here I will add the Tailwind CSS classes. So for that, I will use border blue 500, and I will change the text color to blue with a shade of 500. So if you want to test it, let us just drag a file over it and see how it works. I have to move this window here so that I could move, drag and drop easily. So you can see if I hover it here, the color becomes blue for the border and for the text. But the color did not go away when you are done. So for that, I have to create another function that is handle drag leave. So when you leave that area, then it should remove those classes. So first of all, you can just copy paste all of these three lines because it is going to be a little bit different. we just have to replace the add with the remove function that would remove the classes. Now, if we try it again, you will see that how it will be. So the border color has become blue. If you move it away, then the color would be normal again. So this is how you can make it work. All right. Next, we have to implement the handle drop function so that as soon as user uh, drop it, then we will use this function. Okay, so function name is handle drop. And first of all, we have to prevent the default event behavior. And now I need to get the files from the event. So when you drop on the droppable area, when you drop something on the drop zone, then you will get an event that will have the property data transfer, and in that object you will have files. So I'm going to save those files in a separate variable. Now I will call a function. So as soon as user drop it, I will call a function display images file list. I will pass the file list to the display images function. And not only that, I also have to remove these two classes, because if you drop something, if you are done, then the blue color should be removed from the drop zone. Now it's time to define the display images function. And here I need to expect file list from the parameter. Now I will, whenever this function would be called, it would reset the selected images div. So the div that will display the images, we have to reset it every time. And this is how I will reset it. I will use that DOM element, and I will use dot inner HTML is equal to empty. So in this way, it will empty it first, then it will draw the image tags on it. Now we have to iterate over the files list array. So we will use the for loop, for loop. So first thing is that we need to get the image wrapper. For that, we will create the image wrapper. First of all, const image wrapper is equal to document dot create element. And now I will add few classes to this image wrapper. Class list dot add, and the first class is relative. Second would be uh, horizontal margin 2, and margin bottom would be 2. Now I'm going to create an image tag virtually. That would be const image is equal to document dot create element and image. Now I will set the source to this image. For that, I will use image dot source is equal to URL dot create object URL from file. So if you pass a file object to this function create object URL, it will create a URL for you that you can just give it to the image tag, and image tag would be able to recognize it and display it on the UI. Now I am going to add few classes to this image. That would be class list dot add, and classes are width of 32 and height would be 32. and it will have the style of object cover and rounded large. This will add the make the border its border radius rounded, and after that I need to create a remove button. So if user hover their mouse on the image icon, then it should show a cross icon that user could click and close it or remove it. So for that I will create const remove button is equal to document dot create element button, and now remove button dot inner HTML. This button would have cross icon, and this is how I will add the cross icon and times. If you add it, then this would be converted into the cross icon. And remove button dot class list dot add. I am going to style this cross icon absolute top 0, right 0, height of 6, and width of 6, and the background color should be gray of shade 700, and text should be white. Text should be extra small, and it should be fully rounded, and it should be display flex, and it should have transition on opacity, and it should have outline none on focus. All right, now I'm going to register a click event on this remove button. Add event listener, click, and I will call a function when user clicks on that button, and that function would remove the image wrapper. And this is the image wrapper document element. So I will just remove it. This would actually remove this element from the DOM. And now I want to update the selected files count. I did not create this function yet. I will create it shortly. And after that, so this is the logic for the cross icon to remove the image. Now I will uh, add the image tag in the image wrapper. Sorry, image, and then I need to add the remove button as well in the image wrapper. Now I will append the selected images in the image wrapper. I am appending the image wrapper into the selected images element. So now I will update selected files count. So whenever you select files, for example, you are displaying 5 images, then it should update the selected files count as well. So at the end it will do that. Now we will create a function update selected files count, and in this I will get the length of selected images. So selected images will have the image wrappers. So if there are 10 images, then there would be 10 image wrappers, and this is giving me the length of those image wrappers. Now I am checking if count is greater than 0, then that's mean we have to display the uh, content inside the selected files count element. Text content is equal to, I will use the backticks so that I could use the variables easily to concatenate with my strings. So here I will show count space file, and we will add the s based on condition. If it's one file, then don't add s to make it plural. If there are multiple files, then make it plural by adding s at the end of the file. So I will use this condition. If count is equal to 1, then use empty. Otherwise, use s. This is to make it plural. Now I will add selected string at the end. And if count is 0, then we need to set the content of this div equal to empty, right? Now it's time to test it. Let us test it. So, I will start from the select button. So let us click on that, and I'm going to pick a picture. Nothing worked. Let me see what's wrong. I'm going to check the inspect element. I did not see any error yet. So there's something wrong with my code. So actually I commented this function. That's why I did not flow. So let's select it again. Still not working. This time there is an error in the console. It is saying that this is not a function. Yes, I did a mistake in the spelling. So let's fix that. So it is, now it should work. Okay, now you can see that it is working. I want a margin bottom below this. So let us add a class here, empty 6, and let's try it again. I will select multiple files this time. Okay, you can see that it is displaying the multiple files here. But issue is that it is showing the cross button here. The layout is not looking good for the cross button. So let us see what wrong we have done. So we have image wrapper. I did not use the correct class, so I use the relative like this. So now you can see that there are some issues with the cross icon as well. So we have to fix them. We have to few more classes to make it work correctly. For that, I will add items center, justify center, and opacity 50. On hover, it should increase the opacity. 200. Okay, now let's try it again. I'm going to select images. Okay, you can see that the cross button is visible, but it is too close to the right and top edge. So I will add some more styles. So top, instead of top 0, I will try top 3 and right. It is too much, so let me try to decrease it to 1. Okay, I guess this is sufficient. Now I am going to test if cross button is working. You can see that if I cross it, it is updating, it is removing the image, and it is also updating the file selected count. So next thing that we want to test is drag and drop. So let us drag and drop few images. So you can see the color has been changed. If you drop it, then it has displayed the 4 images and it is now showing the files count as well. So let me try some with some different files, different kind of pictures. So one this, and let me try this. Okay, so this is working perfectly fine. So this is how you can build a drag and drop feature with the help of JavaScript and Tailwind CSS. I hope that this video is useful for you. Please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and click on the bell icon if you want to get notified for all of my upcoming videos. And also please like and share this video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.